Hello board, this is the Technology Integration Plan for Lakeside Unified School District done by me, Luke Middlebrook. Our overview of recommendation and assessment. We've done a needs assessment over the past 8 weeks on Lakeside Unified School District. In this plan, we're going to incorporate our new direction, and the plan for success includes implementation of policy, LCAP/funding recommendations, goals for 2015-2016 school year to the 2017-2018 school year, our site district leadership plan to make sure that technology is integrated effectively. So the needs assessment for Lakeside Unified School District has shown us two very different pictures. In the primary grades, we have 1-to-1 iPad ratio in grades 2, 3, and 4. All teachers are trained in the use of smartboards and use it effectively in cultivating, transforming the curriculum to be the best it can be for their students. There are 5 iPads in every single room, K through 5. There's also desktop computers for students to use. Students are going through station learning, so every single day they have access to individualized differentiated learning to make sure that they're learning at their level and at their pace. And that happens in every single primary classroom, K through 5. Professional learning communities, and support for technology integration is happening on every site. There's a lot of principal support in making sure that teachers are supported. Students are beginning to become fluent speaking, saying, and doing technology. When they leave 5th grade, they know how to use technology, they're using it effectively, and they're very comfortable using it. We have a very different picture when we look at our secondary schools, TDS and LMS. Smartboards are in every single room. This is great, but the teachers are not using the technology. So some teachers don't even use the smartboard. Sometimes they use it for a docu-cam presenting a paper, but there's really no transformative or useful technology integration in the room based on what they have. Other teachers just use books that are already on the desk and use pen and paper like a traditional classroom, and seem like there's no technology integration at all. Students are not allowed to use phones, tablets from home in class. In classrooms, there's a no kind of device policy so that students cannot use any type of technology device within their learning. There's no iPads or individualized school device, so there's no school property aiming at making sure that the curriculum is differentiated and is individualized. So that's kind of challenging as well. So there's really no technology in our secondary schools, which is a very, very different picture than our primary. So our new direction for this district is to integrate grades 6 through 8 with a 1-to-1 device ratio. This is very transformative. We haven't done this yet, so this is going to be very exciting. The next 3 years is going to be a 3-year rollout designed at supporting teaching and learning in the secondary sites with technology starting September 2015. This first year, on 2015, this next September, 8th grade students will get a 1-to-1 ratio, and currently our base device, the device we're looking at, is a MacBook Air. We chose this MacBook Air because in the primary grades, they don't really need a lot of processing power, but as the gradient increases for what our students are being asked to do in the workload, we thought that the gradient for the technology we provide increases as well. So this is why we're providing MacBook Airs, so that students can do more work than they could on an iPad. We thought it'd be more appropriate to give them real work strategies as well as real work devices. The second year, 7th grade students will be getting a device, and the third year, 6th graders will be getting the device. So we broke up the technology rollout over the next 3 years to incorporate a culture being built and making sure that the students and the teachers are not in culture shock and that everything is running successfully. Teachers get training starting in January 2015 and continuing for the next 3 years. So teachers are going to start getting trained this upcoming January. So next month, as soon as we come back from a break, teachers are going to get trained in technology integration. That will continue for the next 3 years to make sure that this technology rollout and technology integration, is the most successful it can be. The policy changes we need to make for Lakeside Unified. We need to update and revise policy 4040 for our teachers and staff to envision our new direction. The last time we upgraded this policy or revised it was in 1998. In 1998, there was really no technology that was different than there was in the past 10 years. So what 4040 states is teachers will use technology to be professional in their data delivery, communication, searching, school property. So anything that revolves around technology, teachers will be professional in their use. We need to revise 4040 to be 4041, and we are going to include students in this policy as well. And what it states is that we use technology to transform our teaching and learning. We use technology to be 21st century leaders in whatever we do. And we're going to hold students and teachers to the same level and standard with this policy, stating that everyone follows the same rule, because as technology becomes more integrated, we don't want to have 2 different rule sets for teachers and staff and students who are using maybe the same device. We thought that'd be kind of redundant. So if we can keep students on the same level, pull them up to the level of the teachers, this would be most effective. Plus the fact that these devices are going to be getting taken home, we want to make sure that students are following policy that can be implemented at home, making sure that they're using the device for professional web searches as well as professional use. We're also going to be implementing a bring your own device, so BYOD policy, following COPA standards, which is the Child Online Privacy Protection Act regulation and requirements. So with that, students need to be able to make sure that they have protection from their identity, their social security number, their birthday, their pictures, anything resulting in the personal identification of the student needs to be protected. We know that some students want to run Microsoft or run Windows as well as Linux, and we want to make sure that that is an option for them. We also know that students are going to run into challenges with these devices, and some might break. And with that, we are going to be providing an insurance premium. So currently we are looking for an insurance provider, and we're getting at least 3 different quotes to meet the Technology Steering Committee standards. And we're going to be submitting that to the Technology Committee to approve 1 quote for an insurance provider. And there will be a deposit of probably $40 to $50 on each device for students to pay the premium in case they are damaged. They can get replaced to maintain a high level of sustainability with these devices. And with that, we have Government Code 1135 and technology integration to divide by that law. So with a bring your own device and technology rollout provided by the school, we need to make sure that every student has access to the educational systems. Following Government Code 1135, we cannot discriminate against a certain class. And Amendment 14 of the Constitution states that everyone gets a fair access to a proper education. So with that, we make sure that every student has technology. So for some reason, a student wants to stop bringing their own device because they think that the MacBook Air is better, they will be able to get provided that service. If families cannot afford the deposit based on the free and reduced lunch, they will not have to pay that premium because we do not want to discriminate against them either based on their financial class. Our current improvements happening in February, we are upgrading the internet access and making sure that technology and training are happening. Fall under Ed Codes 10400 and 11800, Section 6, Article 1X. So 10400 is improving our educational systems to be the most effective they can be, and 11800 is the High-Speed Internet Act, which allows for students to have reliable internet, which you're going to see in the next slide. So our fiscal analysis and LCFF, LCAP, and Prop L kind of funding. Prop L allocated for $31 million to be spent on upgrading facilities, acquiring technology. With the Prop L funding, there's a stipulation if we spend any money on technology, that bond money matures in 5 years of purchase, rather than if we spend it on facilities, that purchase matures in 30 years. So we thought breaking the technology integration over the next 3 years and tiering the system would allow for a higher flexibility, and the mature dates would come 3 years later, allowing for more flexibility in repayment. The Prop L money is already being spent on facilities for implementing high-speed internet, allowing for 10 times the speed of internet on all sites of the district. As previously stated, we are changing the High-Speed Internet Act and allowing for all students to have internet capability with each device. So currently we have 100 megabytes per bandwidth on each site. Dr. Laura Spencer has already approved the funding and already has it in place to implement over 1 gig of bandwidth per site, which is 10 times faster than currently what we've had. So we're changing the sites already to be supportive for a 1-to-1 iPad ratio and 1-to-1 MacBook Air ratio on every single site in the district to make sure that all students have reliable internet and can access the content and curriculum. Half of Prop L has already been spent and allocated to improving facilities, putting a playground, Eucalyptus Hills, their internet access, new district-wide paint scheme. So all these are examples of how the money is already being spent. So we only have half, about $15 million to spend on technology integration as well as sustaining the technology that we already have. Currently, $20,000 is allocated from our LCFF funding to support technology sustainability. We're going to move that, I propose moving that LCFF funding to Prop L funding and purchasing it there. And this allows more flex within our budget for staffing or for student needs. Instead of having it locked down with LCFF, if we can put it in Prop L and then have to worry about it in a couple of years, I think that'd be more successful and a better use of our monies. So goal 1 of our LCAP, so we're going to start going into leadership now. LUSD will provide students the skills necessary to succeed in a dynamic global workforce by achieving competency in 21st century skills, all state standards including Common Core, STEAM, multilingualism, digital literacy, communication, and collaboration. So how we're going to meet this goal is metric 1 on our LCAP states, metric 1 of goal 1, there will be a 1-to-1 device to student ratio in schools for technology integration. How we're going to do that is our action 1 of goal details the technology using bond funds. Currently we have $370,000 from bond funds going to support a 1-to-1 integration of technology. This was actually written before Prop L, and it was also written thinking we were going to integrate a grade with iPads rather than MacBook Airs. MacBook Airs cost a little bit more, so the funding is actually going to go up to $429,000 per year, which is $129,000 more, but Prop L allows us to do that. Based on the fact we have 700 8th graders at TDS and LMS combined, and a MacBook Air with an educational price of about $700 comes out to be $129 per year. 129 extra, so it'd be $490,000 per year. So staff training. With Action 1.6, we allocated $5,000 over the next 3 years to support staff training. That is not enough money. We know there's going to be a lot more challenges and a lot more trainings that need to be met to make sure that the culture in our schools is changed. So we're going to take the $20,000 from our LCFF funding for sustainability and move that into training our staff over the next 3 years. We also need to hire another teacher on special assignment. Currently we have 2 teachers on special assignment. What they do is they help integrate technology, help train the teachers in technology integration. We're going to be paying them through LCFF fundings, and we're going to be paying them $65,000 per year. They're going to be used over the next 3 years on the rollout, and after those 3 years, we're going to be assessing if that role is needed, and if it's not, getting rid of it. If it is needed, then keeping them on. So we're going to be doing that through LCFF because we know that we need another teacher on special assignment. So our gaps for TDS and LMS and Lakeside itself. Here are the gaps. Some teachers are reluctant to use technology in their classrooms. They have it, they just don't use it. We have little to no stakeholder and student feedback on this plan. This plan was devised, but we have no feedback from the people who are going to be using it or a part of it. Our teachers are not trained in the classroom management of devices as well as online learning. So we don't want teachers to have students walk into their class with devices and then have the teachers tell the students put the device in your backpack and not using technology after you've already purchased it. There are many teachers on site, and there are only 2 TOSAs in the district to support all schools. We need more support. So we have 8 different schools on site. 2 of them are middle schools, the rest are primary. There's only 2 teachers on special assignment to support all those schools. It's not going to work. No school site leadership teams set up yet. At Riverview Elementary, there's a school site leadership team that has been set up. We have none of those at LMS and TDS. Facilities need to be assessed for charging and support of technology in the rooms. We need to make sure that the technology we buy can be supported in the room through charging. Having a meeting with ASB, here's how we're going to meet these goals and our gaps. How we're going to meet the gaps with our goals. Having a meeting with ASB reps, parents, staff starting in January. So January, we're going to have a meeting with the stakeholders to figure out and talk about the devices we use and what their input is. Training for teachers starting in January, continuing until September. Every content team is going to be getting trained with a teacher on special assignment per month. January, we're going to have the humanities teams meet with a teacher on special assignment. They're going to talk about what they need help in to integrate technology, where they need to go, how they're going to get there. We're going to do that with humanities, math, science, PE, special ed, English language learners, and electives. We're going to assign a TOSA to both TDS and LMS over the next 3 years exclusively for helping with SPED, ELLs, and general ed. So this TOSA is going to be located just for secondary schools. We're going to meet the principals and the tech steering committee to design and implement a technology leadership team at each school. After internet and broadband are finished in January, assessing the sites for outlets and proper changes for devices. Steve Bull and Scott Gorgans, the principals of LS and TDS, need to be included in planning meetings with district leadership Dr. Lorden and Dr. Spencer, the superintendent and the district tech supervisor. We're going to have Steve Will, who is a TOSA, including technology meetings with the school site leadership, and including ASB reps in the meeting of school site leadership to report the needs of the students. So our summation of what we're going to do to make sure that this plan is fully met is technology must be made district-wide. Sustained growth takes time to implement. Leadership and teaching staff must be trained for success. School policy must be adapted to serve all students, and funding must be allocated for support. We are leading a change in the culture of our schools. The culture of our school is changing. So we are changing this, and we're doing it pretty radically. We need to make sure that we are on top of the change in the culture and make sure that it's the best it can be to support the students, the staff, the stakeholders, and we provide the education that we've been doing over the past 50 years. Thank you for listening to this report. I appreciate your time and look forward to implementing our technology.